deep beneath the dusty surface of the remote planet Varelis 4. The alien research team gathered around their latest and most astonishing find. Years of scans had finally revealed the outline of something enormous, buried just below the cracked, crusted ancient ship unlike any they had ever encountered. Dr. Alara Voss, the human linguist, stood quietly among the alien specialists, her sharp eyes scanning the data streaming across her tablet. The ship's design was unlike any current technology, with flowing curves and strange inscriptions etched into its hull. The team's attempts to activate the vessel systems had failed repeatedly. No alien interface could access its controls. The tension in the research camp was palpable. They needed someone who could unlock the ship's secrets. It was then that the mission commander had requested Ilara's presence. "Ilara, you're the only one who might understand this," the commander explained. "We don't know what language this is or what systems it uses, but we believe the ship is waiting for something or someone." Lyra's heart pounded as she stepped forward. She had trained for moments like this, but nothing could prepare her for the weight of the unknown pressing down around her. The team watched as Alara approached the ship's entrance, a smooth archway that shimmered faintly, as if alive. She reached out, her hand trembling slightly, and brushed the hull. The moment her fingers touched the surface, a deep hum echoed through the ground. Lights flared along the ship's hull, illuminating ancient symbols that pulsed with energy. Suddenly, a section of the ship's outer wall slid open, revealing a dark passageway. The aliens gasped in awe. "Ilara," the commander said, voice filled with disbelief. "It's responding only to you." The human smiled, a mixture of excitement and caution. "Then I guess we have to find out why," with the team following. Closely behind, Ilara stepped inside. The air was cool and still, filled with the scent of untouched technology and mystery. Walls lined with glyphs that seemed to shift under her gaze, and holographic interfaces flickered to life as if recognizing her presence. As Ilara moved deeper, a voice echoed in her mind, a calm, synthetic tone speaking in a language only she seemed to understand. The ship's AI was awakening. "I am the Guardian," it said. "You are chosen." Ilara's pulse quickened. Chosen for what? And why? Only her. Outside, the alien crew debated anxiously. Some feared the ship's power, others dreamed of the knowledge it could unlock. But all eyes remained on Ilara, the key to a mystery centuries old. Days passed as Ilara and the team worked together to decipher the ship's secrets. The AI responded only to her commands, translating ancient data and unlocking access to star maps, weapon systems, and encrypted logs. The more Ilara learned, the more she realized the ship was no ordinary relic. It was a guardian vessel, built in a time when the galaxy faced dangers beyond imagining. Its purpose was to protect, and it had waited for the right pilot to awaken its full potential. News of the discovery spread quickly. Across human and alien colonies alike, hope and curiosity bloomed. If this ship could be controlled, it might change the course of the ongoing conflicts that had fractured the galaxy. But Ilara knew the stakes were higher than anyone realized. The ship's activation triggered signals, a beacon reaching out into the darkness. Something was coming. Something ancient. Something dangerous. The Alliance would soon learn that humanity's connection to the ship was no accident. The answer lay in the stars and in the depths of history. For now, Ilara stood at the bridge of the awakening giant, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The ancient ship had responded only to a human, and that human was about to change everything. The Aegis, as the team had begun calling the ancient ship, loomed like a sleeping colossus beneath the surface of Varelis 4. Its hull gleamed faintly under the planet's dim light, alive with slow pulses of energy. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation. Dr. Ilara Voss sat at the ship's command console, her hands hovering over the controls that had only recently come to life. The glowing symbols rearranged themselves in patterns she instinctively understood, as if the ship's interface was designed specifically for her. The AI's voice, calm and measured, echoed softly through the bridge. Initialization complete. Pilot Ilara Voss, awaiting command. The other members of the research team watched in awe. No alien had ever elicited such a response. It was as if the Aegis recognized something unique within hers, something that had been dormant, waiting for centuries. Ilara's mind raced. What made her the key? Was it her physiology, her heritage, or something deeper, hidden within humanity itself? She issued a tentative command, activating the ship's sensor arrays. Instantly, star maps filled the holographic displays, revealing routes and systems unknown to current galactic charts. Among the stars, a flickering beacon caught her eye, one that seemed to pulse with urgency. "The ship is showing us something," Ilara said quietly, studying the beacon's coordinates. A signal from beyond known space. The Alliance scientists and military advisors gathered to discuss the implications. The Aegis was not just a relic. It was a sentinel built for a purpose far beyond exploration or war. The signal hinted at a threat, one that had been contained long ago but was now awakening. Lieutenant Kale, a veteran pilot from the Riven species, exchanged a wary glance with Ilara. "If this threat is real, we're unprepared. Our fleets are scattered, and our technology is nowhere near what this ship wields." Ilara nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. "Then we need to learn fast. The ship's technology responds only to me, and that gives us an advantage. But it's also a race against time." Days blended into nights as Ilara trained alongside the Aegis's AI. The ship was a complex symphony of systems, weaponry capable of energy manipulation beyond anything in the Alliance's arsenal. Shields that could bend space and propulsion. Engines that hinted at near-instantaneous travel. Yet, the AI was cryptic. It revealed fragments of its past a civilization once united against a cosmic menace known only as the Voidborn. This enemy had threatened to consume entire star systems, forcing the ancients to create the Aegis as their ultimate guardian. Ilara absorbed the history, feeling a strange connection. "Why only me?" she asked the AI during one long session. "Your kind," the AI replied, "carries the potential to awaken dormant power. The ancients chose to bind the Aegis's command to a species capable of empathy, innovation, and resilience. Qualities you embody." The research team grew more confident with every breakthrough, but the signal from deep space grew stronger. Coalition forces, long rivals of the Alliance, began to show signs of unusual activity near the beacon's origin. Ilara's communications officer, Yan, intercepted a troubling transmission. "The Coalition fleet is mobilizing." They might have detected the Aegis's awakening and the signal it sent. The stakes had never been higher. The Aegis was no longer a secret. Its power was coveted, and control over it could determine the fate of the galaxy. Standing on the ship's observation deck, Ilara gazed out into the endless stars. The silence was deceptive beneath the calm. A storm was gathering, the ancient ship had awakened, and the galaxy was about to remember why it had been feared. Ilara took a deep breath. "We're not just pilots or explorers anymore," she said. "We're guardians now. And I won't let this ship and what it protects fall into the wrong hands." The journey had only just begun. The deeper Ilara and the Alliance team explored the Aegis, the more secrets the ancient ship revealed. Secrets that had the power to rewrite everything the galaxy thought it knew. Inside the ship's labyrinthine halls, walls shimmered with shifting inscriptions that seemed alive. Alara spent hours with the ship's AI decoding glyphs that chronicled a forgotten era when the galaxy was threatened by the Voidborn, a relentless force that consumed entire star systems, leaving only silence in its wake. The logs described how the ancients had pooled their knowledge and technology to create the Aegis, a guardian vessel designed not only to defend but to wield a weapon capable of ending the Voidborn threat once and for all. That weapon, known only as the Heart of the Void, had been hidden away to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. As Alara pieced together the story, the Alliance leaders debated how to use the newfound power. The Coalition, now wary and watching closely, had increased patrols near the beacon's coordinates. Tensions were rising, and time was running short in the ship's core chamber. Alara found herself drawn to a glowing orb suspended in mid-earth, the Heart of the Void's interface. The AI warned her that activating it prematurely could awaken catastrophic forces. But leaving it dormant risked the Coalition seizing control first. The ship seemed to trust her judgment, responding only to her voice and commands. This bond was both a gift and a burden. During a briefing, Admiral Kalen voiced the dilemma. If the Coalition gains the Heart of the Void, they could use it to dominate the galaxy. But if we use it recklessly, we might unleash devastation. Lara's gaze hardened. We don't have the luxury of hesitation. We must prepare to defend the ship and the Heart while finding a way to harness its power responsibly. Meanwhile, the AI began teaching Alara about the ship's advanced systems quantum shields that could withstand the fiercest attacks. Engines capable of folding space and weapons that manipulated energy at a molecular level. Her training sessions stretched her mind and body, forcing her to adapt rapidly. Outside the Aegis, the Alliance fleet gathered, their ships shimmering with anticipation and nervous energy. Every faction understood that this ancient power could be the key to survival or destruction. One night, as Alara studied the star maps, the ship's sensors detected an unidentified vessel approaching at high speed. The tension on the bridge was palpable. "Unknown ship," Alara said, eyes narrowing. "It's heading straight for us." The ship's AI responded, "Prepare for potential engagement." Moments later, a sleek Coalition scout appeared on the view screen. The Coalition commander hailed them, voice cold and calculated. "We've tracked your activities. Surrender the Aegis and the Heart of the Void. Resistance will be met with force." Alara stared at the screen, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her. The war for control of the Aegis had begun in earnest. "Not a chance," she said firmly. "This ship belongs to those who protect the galaxy, not those who seek to conquer it." The Coalition ship responded with a warning before disengaging. But the threat was clear. They would not back down. Alara turned to her crew. "We have to be ready. The secrets we've uncovered are dangerous, but they're also our greatest hope." The Aegis hummed with quiet power, as if acknowledging her resolve. In that moment, Alara understood something profound. The ancient ship had chosen her, not just because she was human, but because humanity carried the spark of resilience and hope the galaxy desperately needed. The coming battle would test everything, but Alara was ready to face it. The warning came not in words, but in light. As Alara stood on the command deck of the Aegis, the central holodisplay flickered to life on its own. The ancient glyphs that lined the ship's interior turned red, pulsing with a rhythm that felt like a heartbeat. Across the screen, an old star map projected a distant region of space cold. It's uncharted and far beyond any known system. From that black expanse came a signal, weak, distorted, but unmistakably alive. Alara leaned in. "Is that the Voidborn?" The ship's AI responded without delay. "The containment breach has begun. The threat long dormant now stirs. The Voidborn return." On the deck, silence fell like a curtain. The Alliance scientists, officers, and diplomats gathered around the projection, their expressions shifting. From curiosity to alarm, the red pulse spread across the star map, system by system, like a slow infection. Admiral Callan was the first to speak. "This isn't a skirmish, it's a resurgence." The AI continued its briefing. The Voidborn were not a species, but a força destructive, self-replicating intelligence that consumed energy and matter without end. The ancients had barely stopped them the first time, and even then, it was not through victory, but containment. The Aegis had been their last hope, sealed away with the heart of the void. Should the threat ever return? And now it had. Alara's voice was calm, but firm. "We have the Aegis. We have the heart. We may be the only ones who can stop this." Lieutenant Kale, ever the realist, folded his arms. And the coalition knows it. If they believe the heart is the key to stopping the Voidborn, they'll try to take it no matter the cost. That truth settled like ice in the room. Two threats now loomed, one ancient and cosmic. The other political and immediate. Later that day, Alara walked the dim corridors of the ship, alone, her thoughts heavy. The AI spoke again, softer this time, almost like a whisper in her mind. "You are the first to respond with harmony. Others who tried before brought only conflict." Alara paused. "You've seen others like me. Many attempted to command. Few listened." That struck her deeply. Was that what made her different? Not power or skill, but the willingness to listen, to understand. She made her way to the central chamber where the heart of the void floated in containment, still glowing, still pulsing. A device of unimaginable power, it was neither entirely weapon nor tool. Its purpose was shaped by the intent of the one who wielded it, and right now, all intentions in the galaxy were converging on her. The next day, the Aegis left orbit, rising into space for the first time in millennia. Its engines hummed with ancient strength, and its shields shimmered like liquid light. Escorted by an Alliance fleet, it began the journey toward the edge of known space, toward the origin of the signal. Every jump through hyperspace brought them closer to the darkness. Strange distortions plagued their sensors. Ships reported brief power disruptions, and some crew members reported hearing whispers, echoes of the Voidborn's mind touch, when they finally dropped out of hyperspace near a dead system. They saw it. A derelict world, shattered and drifting. Its core darkened. Orbiting it was a black mass, slowly unfolding like a living storm. The Voidborn had awakened. Alara's breath caught. This is only the beginning. Back aboard the Aegis, the AI confirmed her worst fear. Contact imminent. Prepare for engagement. The warning had been delivered. The galaxy could no longer look away, and Alara Voss, the human who had awakened the giant, was now its only hope. The Aegis drifted silently in high orbit above the shattered system, its hull glowing faintly with power that seemed to hum in time with Alara's heartbeat. Below, the remnants of the broken world told a quiet story of devastation. The Void were not merely returning, they had already begun their conquest. Alara stood in the ship's neural command chamber, where the interface surrounded her in a dome of light and sound. Threads of energy moved with her breath, responding to her thoughts. The ship's artificial intelligence, more ancient than any Alliance archive, guided her through simulations unlike anything she had ever known. "Begin Phase 4, she said calmly. The lights shifted. Dozens of projections appeared simulated. Voidborn vessels with unpredictable maneuvers and adaptive strategies. The AI called it predictive training, based on ancient battle data and new sensor input. Alara called it overwhelming. Each time she failed a sequence, the ship adjusted the scenario, challenging her reflexes, judgment, and connection to the ship. Unlike traditional piloting, the Aegis responded to intention as much as command. Her thoughts guided systems, Her instincts shaped responses. After hours of failed runs, she collapsed to one knee, sweat on her brow. "You are progressing," the AI said, its voice even and unwavering. "Barely," she replied, standing back up. "These simulations aren't just hard, they're impossible. Victory against the Voidborn requires more than strategy. It requires understanding. You do not command the Aegis with orders. You lead it with purpose." Ilara paused. What purpose did the ancients have? The AI answered with a pause of its own, almost as if remembering. Survival, unity, hope. She breathed in slowly. That she understood. Meanwhile, on the Alliance fleet's command ship, Admiral Kalen and Lieutenant Kale reviewed the most recent sensor data. The Voidborn presence was growing, and fast. Their structures seemed organic, yet mechanical. Ships formed like limbs from a larger body. Feeding off the remnants of planetary cores, they're consuming energy faster than we can track, Kale said grimly. "If we don't stop them now, they'll reach our borders in weeks." Kalen shook his head. "And the Coalition is watching us the entire time. If they believe the heart of the void is the answer, they'll strike the moment we're distracted." Back aboard the Aegis, Ilara's next training session took a new turn. The AI unlocked a memory core, revealing a holographic recording of the ship's last true pilota, tall, humanoid figure with eyes like stars. The ancient being spoke softly. "We built this ship not just as a weapon, but as a test. Only those who could feel what we felt, who valued life as more than power would be able to use it." Lara watched in silence. She felt the pressure of generations behind her, of lives lost and protected by the ship's dormant form. She stepped back into the interface and closed her eyes. No more hesitation. This time, the ship responded more quickly. Her commands flowed like thought into motion. Shields danced between attacks. Weapons struck precise points on enemy formations. Her movements weren't perfect, but they were powerful, controlled. Human. By the end of the session, the AI's tone had changed. Pilot readiness at 71%. Neural synchronization optimal. Ilara opened her eyes. "Good, because we won't get a second chance when they come." That night, as the Aegis drifted silently in orbit, the stars around them shimmered with false calm. On the outer rim of the system, a sensor alert sounded. Voidborn vessels were on the move. Dozens? No. Hundreds. Ilara stood at the viewport, watching their faint trails begin to coalesce. The time for training was ending. The real battle was about to begin. The stars trembled with motion. From the edge of the shattered system, the Voidborn came. They did not arrive in a fleet of ships, but as a wave, dark, flowing, and shifting like liquid shadows wrapped in metal. At first, the scanners struggled to define them. They had no distinct mass, no consistent shape. They were energy, hunger, motion. Thousands of them inside the Aegis. Ilara stood in the command chamber, eyes fixed on the display. Red markers bloomed across the map as the enemy advanced. The Alliance fleet arrayed in a wide defensive arc. Held steady, but unease rippled through every channel. "This is it," Admiral Kalen said through comms. "Hold the line. We stand together." The Voidborn struck without warning. Their tendrils of dark matter reached out like spears, slashing through shields and systems. Alliance ships responded with everything they had: plasma, rail cannons, and gravitic torpedoes, but the enemy adapted. Each volley lost its edge as the Voidborn absorbed the attacks and reshaped themselves mid-assault. Within seconds, the front line began to buckle. Ilara Kale's voice crackled over the channel. "We need the Aegis now." She did. Hesitate, the Aegis surged forward, its engines opening a rift of silver light as it moved. Ilara linked fully into the neural interface. The bridge faded around her, replaced by a sensory map of the battlefield. She was no longer piloting the ship. She was the ship. She reached toward the advancing dark with thought and purpose. Target primary swarm clusters. Isolate and disrupt their energy lattice. The Aegis responded instantly. Beams of pure harmonic energy lanced into the darkness. Where the light touched, the Voidborn recoiled. They screeched, not in sound, but through the disturbance in space itself. The attacks weren't just physical, they disrupted the frequency that held the creatures together. The Alliance fleet rallied behind her lead. Where once they had been on the defensive, now they pushed forward. Alara guided the Aegis between enemy clusters, shifting power from shields to pulse arrays with a thought. Every maneuver felt like an extension of her own instincts. Her earlier training now came alive with purpose. But the Voidborn weren't done. From the core of their mass, a larger form emerged a central intelligence. A towering shape of dark geometry orbited by shards of light-sapping material. It unleashed a pulse that knocked several Alliance vessels offline and sent the Aegis reeling. Warning, the AI intoned. Null field detected. The source is resisting dimensional stability. Alara gritted her teeth. Then we stabilize it ourselves. She focused her thoughts. The Aegis shifted into its alternate combat configuration panels, sliding open, core glowing with the dormant power of the heart of the void. The AI hesitated. Activation of the heart may cause escalation. If we don't act, there won't be anything left to escalate. A beam of radiant white light erupted from the ship's core, aimed directly at the central Voidborn form. The beam didn't destroy it, disrupted it. The structure collapsed in on itself, folding into space and vanishing with a low frequency. Pulse, the remaining Voidborn scattered. The coordination lost. The field went quiet. Across the fleet, silence gave way to cheers. For the first time in generations. The Voidborn had been repelled, but Alara remained still. That wasn't a victory, she said softly. That was a warning shot. She could feel it. The heart of the void had reached beyond the ship. Its activation had sent a signal. One not just to the enemy, but to anyone watching. And someone had been watching far beyond the battle zone. Deep in Coalition territory, unknown ships powered up. Their path was clear. The Aegis had revealed itself and now others would come to claim it. The Aegis returned from the edge of battle scarred but not broken. Its hull still pulsed with quiet energy, but inside, the weight of what had just happened lingered heavily. The battle with the Voidborn had shaken the entire fleet, but it had also revealed something more dangerous. The heart of the void had not just been a weapon. It had been a signal. Alara stood alone in the core chamber, watching the heart float inside its containment field. The AI's voice echoed around her, calm and emotionless. Detection. Multiple coalition fleets inbound. Trajectory indicates. Intent to intercept. Time to contact. 18 hours. She already knew what they wanted. Admiral Kalen confirmed it in the next emergency briefing. The Coalition thinks we've unlocked a superweapon. They're moving to seize the Aegis. And they're not coming to negotiate. Kale shook his head. We barely made it through the last fight. If they attack us now, we'll be fighting on two fronts with no guarantee the Voidborn are done. The command center was filled with frustration and fear. But Alara was quiet. Her mind wasn't on the Coalition, it was on the Aegis, on the heart, on the message that had gone out into the stars and what might answer it. The Aegis wasn't meant for conquest, she said at last. It's a key, not a throne. And if the wrong hands take it, the galaxy won't survive what comes next. Later, while the fleet scrambled to fortify defenses, Alara returned to the neural chamber. The AI greeted her with a warning. New threat emerging, Voidborn signals have reappeared. Unknown evolution in their pattern. They are learning. Alara closed her eyes. They'll come straight for the heart. Yes, the AI said. And this ship is no longer hidden. It was then that she made the choice. Alara called Kale to the chamber, along with Admiral Kalen and the senior engineers. She stood before them with quiet resolve. I'm going to draw them away. Both the Coalition and the Voidborn. Kalen blinked. You mean take the Aegis? Mean leave the heart with the fleet, she replied. We'll remove it from the Aegis, keep it hidden. The ship is what the Coalition sees as the prize, but it's the heart they need to stop the Voidborn. Kale stepped forward, alarmed. Without the heart, you can't activate half the systems. You'll be vulnerable. I won't be fighting to win. I'll be fighting to survive long enough for the rest of you to finish what we started. The team resisted the idea. But Alara didn't budge. This isn't about me, she said. It never was. The Aegis was built to be more than a weapon. It was built as a shield. If I can give the galaxy time to prepare, it'll be worth it. With quiet efficiency. The crew began the delicate task of decoupling the heart from the Aegis. It was relocated to a deep space vault, guarded by the Alliance's fastest, stealthiest ships. When the final seal was placed, Alara stepped aboard. The Aegis one last time not as a weapon bearer, but as a decoy, a guardian, and a warning. The AI acknowledged her plan. You will be alone. I know, she said. The Aegis launched into space, its engines flaring with light as it jumped. To a distant system, drawing the attention of both Coalition and Voidborn fleets. Alara flew into the unknown, leaving behind the heart and any hope of rescue. From the bridge, she looked out over the stars. Knowing the galaxy now had a chance because she had taken the risk to give it one. The sacrifice had been made. Now, it was up to others to carry the fight forward. The Aegis emerged from hyperspace in the heart of an abandoned system, surrounded by ancient wreckage and forgotten stars. Alara stood on the bridge, now quieter than ever before. Without the heart of the void, the ship's core systems operated at a fraction of their true capacity. Its strength was diminished, but not its purpose. Alone, Alara waited. The Coalition had followed. So had the Voidborn. Sensors showed two fleets converging from opposite sides of the system, one structured and calculating, the other shifting and formless. From her command station, Alara watched them draw closer. They'll reach weapons range in 5 minutes, the AI informed her. Alara exhaled slowly. Good. Let's give them something to chase. With a single command, the Aegis powered up and rocketed forward, veering between asteroid belts and dead moons, drawing both enemies deeper into the system's gravitational field. It was a dance of misdirection. Every move was designed to delay, to confuse, to buy time far across the stars. The real heart of the void had been secured by Alliance ships in deep space. Admiral Kalen had distributed its fragments to multiple vaults. Kale and a small task force had begun studying it for stable use, not as a weapon, but as a deterrent, a beacon of warning and balance. But that future still depended on Alara. On the Aegis, surviving as enemy fire began to light up the system. Alara activated one final protocol the AI had saved for last. The reflection gate. Are you sure? The AI asked. If we don't use it now, there won't be a later. She replied. The reflection gate was an ancient emergency system designed not to fight, but to vanish. It folded a section of space inward, creating a temporary rift that rendered the Aegis undetectable and unreachable. A stasis beyond normal time. Once activated, it could only be undone from the outside. Alara initiated the sequence as Voidborn tendrils reached toward the ship, and Coalition missiles closed in. The Aegis began to fade. One by one, lights across the hull dimmed. Panels sealed. Shields fell away. And in a silent flash, the ship disappeared, folded into a space beyond sight. The system was quiet again, What the Coalition and Woodbourne found was nothing. No ship. No heart. Only the echo of what had been. For days, both forces searched. Then, faced with rising resistance from the Alliance and the threat of the Voidborn expanding again, the Coalition withdrew. The Voidborn scattered to the dark edges of the galaxy. But something about the ship's sudden absence unsettled them. Back in Alliance space, Ilara was honored as a hero. Her last message, transmitted seconds before the Aegis vanished, became legend. If we survive what's coming, it will be because we chose unity over conquest, understanding over fear. The Aegis is not lost, it waits. When we are ready, we will find it again. Until then, I'll be watching the stars. Decades passed. The heart was never weaponized. Instead, it became the symbol of a new coalition, not of factions, but of peoples. Working together. Humans and aliens alike remembered Ilara not as a soldier, but as the guardian who gave them a future. Then, one quiet day on a distant moon, a signal was received. It pulsed once. Then again, somewhere in the silence between galaxies, the Aegis stirred, and in its heart, a human voice whispered, "Ready."